some people to get in here. Andrew Cruz, Patrick, good to see you. All right. Now we got some in here. I don't know how many are in here. 4. Well, we did have 4. I guess what we'll do is we'll just start, and if people want to look at it later, they can definitely look at it later. All right, everybody, for a lot of you that have not seen the truck during the day here, we are doing a live on basically the introduction to the Kenworth T680 that we are in the process of buying. A lot of you have seen some of the truck, but you've seen it more or less during the night. But we're definitely going to be doing a live stream of this during the day, so that a lot of you actually see what the truck actually looks like. So we're gonna probably start in the front of, or inside the truck, so that you all can see it. So we're gonna start up here in the cab. Basically, this is the layout of the truck on the front here. So 0, yes, my concoction bottle usually goes there or down in the door. They got a nice little spot down there where I can do that. That's one of the nice features that I do like. Where the Kenworth or the Volvo, we had it up here just above there where there was a tray that pulled out. So as you can see, we do have 2 GPSs running at the same time, and where you see that camera right there, that is where we actually live stream from. This is the secondary device that we normally have, and that is usually down here right about there, and that's where it normally sits. So if I can't see the chat on there, I can still read it on here and still do mod functions if I absolutely have to. But this is definitely the seat. Of course, we got to show this. We always have our American flag hanging up in here. I know Zero had it in the back, but definitely we have all of our quick snacks above there on this side, which this is a little bit different than the Volvo. The Volvo's doors actually swing this way open and don't go like this. This is one of the features I do not really like, and these do not kind of tip down more, which they should, because sometimes you can definitely get hit on. So then we have space above here, our CB radio, which we always have with us, and then miscellaneous there, and then another container or another spot up there. Now the one in the Godmother was actually more wrapped around. We didn't have these doors at all, but if you look also too, this bunk, I mean, I can literally touch my hand to the top. but there's a lot more room in here. It does have these lights I really don't like. They're not as bright, but they are what they are. So we got a glove compartment that's right down there. Our clipboard stays there. Now these seats, this is the original seat that came with the truck. Now these seats, I like these better because you can adjust these right here. So you can, and once you adjust them, they stay, they don't move. Not like the Volvo ones, they actually click. They go click, 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 and you can have it about there. But these you adjust and they stay all the time. So it's definitely nice. There is a light up here. It's supposed to open with the door light, with the door open, but I don't know. I think they got the parameter shut off on these. But you got another light there for, you know, if you need to. And now if you look closely more towards the switches here, the traction control bar right here. Here's actually the speed cruise control, to set it, to resume it. This is that lane assist that you hear every once in a while that beeps, beeps, beeps. And this is also a brake feature for like on a hill. And then this here is to regen the truck. Here's your hazards. If the sun doesn't take it. Here's how to turn on the parking lights and the lights. These are the ICE lights above. And these also are for, right here is for the bunk. Now we are going to fill this spot up later on down the road. We haven't figured out what yet, but we will figure something out for this spot as well as this spot right here. And these three spots will get filled as well. Now this one here is for basically for the winter, or if we get stuck somewhere where you lock in the transaxle. This does also have a climate control. This button here, and if you push it straight in the center, it turns on the bunk heater. This is what, if you push this one in the center, this one will actually turn on the AC, and also to recirculate the air on this one, and this is also the blower fan. Now this one came stock with a Kenworth radio. We don't really use it that much, but it is what it is. But you can change the colors on it between red and blue, and we've got it on red. And then this also has what they call a smart valve. This is what lowers it up and down with the suspension. So we can do that. And as you can see, here's our ELD, which this is what we have left. We had 9 minutes left by the time we parked it today, and that was it. So yeah, talk about running it down to the wire. Now looking over here, basically we've got, well, I'll start here. We've got an oil temp gauge, and we also got the turbo boost gauge. Some of you will hear the boost that kicks in. This is that gauge that'll tell us what it is. Here's our air gauge for our airbags of what we have on there. Between 50 and 60 pounds is usually ideal for transporting, but we kind of fine tune it so that it's like right in the middle. And then here is a filter, fuel filter gauge that there is also on board. Now we'll go move over to here. As you'll see, the brake gauge that's right here for how much pressure we put onto the brakes. Here's the primary and secondary air saddles that are on board, so we have air always on the truck. And this one here is the DPF, or DEF fill gauge. We did fill that up earlier today. And now then also with the miles per hour gauge, which we can do that digitally on here on the screen. If we probably light this up, this is what this would look like. And then you have to sit there and get out of this. We've got currently 7.5 miles per gallon. This here you can, well, this, we'll show this off. And then turn that to speedometer, and then hit that back. If the truck is running, we can actually put a timer on this. This is some settings that we have. One active fault, chassis information, trip odometer. And this one right here, we can start the truck up and set it to shut off after that amount of time, and it'll go up to 12 hours. So within 12 hours or however we decide to, we can actually shut this off. Now, since we bought the truck, we had 412,624 on here. This is what we have on here now. And then there's the gauge that tells us what gear we're in, auto shift. We're currently at 90 degrees and 11:18 Central Daylight Time. Now this here will also go on to here if I leave it on here. And then we got our water gauge, oil pressure, and our volts meter gauge, which is, we do have the APU running now. Now the key is down here, and then we got basically, this is one here is for the dash panel, the whether or not to keep it more lighted or less lighted. This one here is a foot pedal, which we're gonna hook something onto it, which I'll show you that right here. This will illuminate a light down underneath there, which eventually we're gonna hook another light along in here to kind of illuminate in here. So that's what we're gonna do with that one later on. And then so we'll shut that one off. This one here is your pre-trip. You click this on with the switch, it'll cycle every light around the truck, trailer, truck, brakes, headlights, low lights or low beams, turn signals, everything. Let's see. And then here is our back reverse light, which when we're backing up to a trailer, we'll definitely have that. And then on the door, we have power locks, believe it or not, for both sides. For both sides of windows. This is for the mirror, to adjust the mirrors. And we also have heated mirrors in this. And then, like I was saying, basically our liquid gold. Can't forget our liquid gold. And then, of course, we got a full bottle of Wild Cherry Pepsi already configured. And the dog leashes. And then we can put our concoction bottle, believe it or not. And I do that sometimes. I'll put it in here. So Zero, pay attention. Believe it or not, it actually gets a little bit colder being in here when the air circulates around in here. So that is the cab part. Now this seat is not the original seat. This is a legacy seat. This is a $2,400 seat. When we didn't buy this, this was already installed in the truck. But that's definitely it. So now we come back to the bunk section. And then this does have a twin bunk in here. We're using the upper bunk right now for storage, trying to figure out where we're going to put everything. Right here we have the microwave, which was very hard to kind of get in there, but we got it stable down. And then of course, as you can see, more or less our production area in a way. As you can see, everyone, you're live. We're watching everything that happens in real time. So basically there, and then we always got the weather kind of running. So this computer is hooked up to 2 screens currently right now. So we can always watch what is happening with the weather. And as you can see, we've got bad weather coming across whenever it comes and everything else. Back here, we've got the emergency door, which we can open that. You can also open up the vent as well. You can turn it 2 ways, and we have that on both sides. There is a vent back here for cooling, and there's another one over here, and then there's 2 more up on the top on each corner. So now we come around over to this side. We got another vent right here, and then we got a light that's right here. And now we come to the panel that runs the APU. This is what's running the APU. We just turn those dials one way or the other. We got it on cold right now. So if we turn this to up to here, it'll switch it, and then also the bunk heater, and then basically where we want it, either cool or hot, and then here's your fan speed. And now basically here, right here is like for the refrigerator. We shut this off. This will shut the refrigerator off. Our charging port for whatever phones that we have. And then basically we have all this back here for which is the bunk controls for anybody that's on board. And then you can turn the light up there, on or off with this switch. And then we can lock the doors from back here. If we forgot to lock the doors, all we got to do is just basically push that button up and locks it. And then this also has an alarm system on back here for basically the truck. So that's basically it. Now, people always wonder about when we got to go to the bathroom. Believe it or not, we have a porta potty on board, and basically all our food and stuff is all in there and everything else. So we also have another little drawer down here which we're using for miscellaneous stuff, fuses, whatever else there might be. We got plenty of fuses on board in case we ever run out of fuses. If we got to splice a wire, we got the wire splices. A lot of the tools are down underneath the bunk, which I can show you that maybe if I don't have problems lifting the bunk up. And then our refrigerator. Believe it or not, we've got cauliflower, broccoli, 2 pieces of chicken yet. Never forget the Miracle Whip. I see Carmen forgot the cheese. I normally don't eat the cheese. And then we got a little freezer right in here. So Carmen usually sticks her Pepsis in here. I don't stick mine ever in there. I usually like mine just room temperature, and it's got a light. Now if I shut this switch off up in the dash, it kills the power to the refrigerator completely. So you gotta always have that switch on. We were trying to figure out why the refrigerator was not working, but this is a fairly good size refrigerator. The Volvo definitely has a much bigger refrigerator. You can get more into the little freezer section in here, and there's just a lot more room in here. But for the most part, for what we've hauled so far, it's pretty good. I don't know if I can stick 2 cases of hamburger in here. I have done it in the Volvo, but we can definitely put it in there. Yeah, where's the taters? IP, I'm getting them after this. We're definitely getting fresh ones. Now here we have a cabinet, and basically I've even got some donuts in here, believe it or not. We did put a light in here so we can actually see. We got normally our plates and everything else in here. We did end up putting a little cabinet in here to put stuff in here. Mainly all of in this drawer is all our medications in case we need it. We get sick. I don't know what Carmen put in here. Oh, she put Ziploc bags and stuff in here. But eventually what I'm going to do is take this back out and try to figure out a piece of wood. Might have to get a piece of beam wood for a house and get it so that it fits perfectly down in here so that this is actually level. This is actually sitting on an angle, and I don't like that. And then also here we got some pee pads in case we need them for the dogs if we're ever in a spot where we can't ever let them out. And then there's a little couple cabinets back in here, which we won't probably ever use that because this is replacing that. But this has also got a shelf along in here and stuff. So basically that's that. Now with the Volvo, believe it or not, the TV would have gone in this section here, and that cabinet is actually pushed back a little bit more, so we're actually losing a little bit of space in here, but it's not really that bad. And then also so like where the TV is at down here would go up in here in this area, and we usually had some stuff to tuck in back behind here if we needed it out, and we were able to move the TV out of the way. Now a lot of the new Volvos, they do have it where there's a bracket up in here and you can just swing it away and then put whatever in the back. And then usually on the other side, this is where we would normally have the microwave. It would be always on this side, but this cabinet actually comes out. So there's actually a little bit of wasted space in my opinion with the Kenworth. They just bring these out too much. Now with also the Kenworth, they do have an option where these drawers are actually pull out. Now I might find out later on down the road if I can pull this cabinet out, and there's a table that actually sits here where the laptop is, and it actually swings out, and then this chair actually will rotate around, so you can have somebody sit on the bunk and then somebody actually eating out of that chair. But yeah, we're always constantly monitoring everything that's going on. I mean, if you look at Florida, holy crap, Florida's going to get wailed on. But definitely that is what's happening right there. Don't worry, IP. We'll get the taters. We're not going to leave without taters today. So yeah, this is basically the inside of the truck during the day, because I know a lot of you did mention it's like, well, we couldn't see the truck. It was during the night, so that is basically what happened. But yeah, this is how our setup is normally for when we live stream. I've always known what's ahead of me or when we're going to arrive at our place. Tommy, good to see you. And then this GPS here, we always have this one for where the next truck stop is, the next rest stop, or even a small mom and pop fuel shop is. We always know what is going on. So when everybody usually suggests to us, well, go to this truck stop. If this time here doesn't allow us to, we just got to basically park. Like I said, today we ended up with 9 minutes left. That was all we had off of our 80 or off of our 70. And since I'm looking at it, this is basically what I'm having for hours. So for tomorrow, if I remember this correctly, this is all we're going to get back for after midnight. 9 hours and 37. The next day it's 9 hours and 53. The next day after that, we're getting 10:37 back, 11:05. But if we run into this day, this is where we're going to have an issue. We're going to be sitting just like that day we were sitting over the weekend and we weren't supposed to. So I got to take some hours of this, and this to get hours to drive back on that day. So that's why it's important when we're running 8-day logs that we definitely make sure that we have hours back. And that's why normally most people will drive like 8 hours a day. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hours can come back onto this day. So we'll have to watch that very carefully. But like today, we ended up driving 9 hours and 20 minutes. So that has got to be very important there. You know, I should have only drove the 8 hours and saved a good majority of this for up to here. So that would have been about 9 hours. You always want to balance these hours out regardless so that you have it. The other one thing I want to point out too right away is with the Kenworth T680, this bunk is huge. We ended up finding out that it's an actual bigger bunk than what it is, because we've actually got space back down in here yet. We did buy a custom mattress for this, but it don't fit. So we were looking online to figure out if we can find another bunk, and there is a place that will make a bunk for a Kenworth T680 that will fill all the way into that corner, because this kind of sits kind of sideways, and also on that corner. So we are going to eventually have a new mattress. This mattress in here is a good size thick mattress. That is a good 10-inch mattress in here, and it's a foam mattress. So we definitely going to have one made for this later on down the road. So now we'll go outside and we'll basically see the engine of what it is. Now here's the side compartment. Basically everything that I need. Hammer, miscellaneous stuff, screwdriver, to clean the windshield that I know sometimes I need to do on. Always got other parts that we might need with. Blowout, newspaper to get that windshield nice and clean for 5 minutes until the bugs hit at it. And this, believe it or not, we found this at a place. I can't believe that this came off of a piece of equipment, but it did. So believe it or not, this is actually a raw piece that's not been fully machined, but it looks like it was. So it looks like it's a casting, a gray casting from something. So I picked that stuff up so somebody doesn't hit it, don't wreck their truck and everything else. But here's the back side of the truck. That's the condenser unit that is actually using for the air conditioning. The glad hands and everything else for when we haul reefer. Normally we want our hoses to make sure they stay still. And eventually I think we're going to probably later on down the road actually add a bigger fuel tank. I really don't like the fuel tank filling on the side here. I'd rather have it towards the back. It's a lot easier to fill up because you can just hang the thing on there and it'll stay on there. This right here, this is for the bunk heater. That's the exhaust that comes out. And so everything basically, like I said, for the AP unit fires, that's for the condenser for the AC. And then we'll go over on that side there because that's the actual APU unit. But this truck does take DEF, which is kind of sucks. For some of you that have not seen the front, there's the front. Eventually we will upgrade this so that it protects more of the lights, because a deer hits right on here or here, we could be looking at almost probably $4,000 for a new hood, especially for being the year that it is. The one thing is we did add some red light in here. We might change them to blue. We don't know yet, but you will see those during the night. So now we'll pop open the hood and show you the engine. Now this truck is powered by a Cummins X15 Efficiency Series engine. This is a straight 6, inline 6. As you can see, there's a whole lot of red there, or offset red that I call it, and everything else. So this is the power steering. That would be a fuel filter, and basically you put your oil fill here. The one thing I do not like about the Kenworth is how this is actually here. I mean, this will actually heat up, in my opinion, with all the heat coming up, but I'm used to the Volvos where it would be in between here and then down along the side. But I guess in a way, for the winter purposes, it won't frost up maybe as quick. So, but this is the whole top side of this left driver's side of it. There is where our fuel water separator is. Looks like it's getting ready to be redone. But I don't even know if they got these going into, well, we got something in here. Oh, that's just a fuel. Some of these you can basically have it where you have a winter kit. I would have to change out the whole thing, but you could change this for a winter kit where all of a sudden the hot water from the coolant from the APU circulate in here and then circle back into the engine. But these are basically drum brakes. These were newly replaced when we bought it. And then it's easy access to get at the lights. It's one of the nice things that I like. The only thing I do not like is like where the screen, because like if you look at our radiator, we got bugs galore in here, and then that'll get into the pores of the cooling, and I don't like that. So eventually we're going to get a screen guard in here to put in here so that we protect the radiator and the condenser for the truck, and also the charge air cooler, which is this right here. And your radiator is in between here. So if all those bugs work a way through there, it plugs everything up. This engine cannot breathe, and all of a sudden you'll wonder why that you're running hot down the highway. So now we come to the left side, or right side we should say. There's your alternator right here. This big massive turbo is what basically powers. That's what a lot of you will hear. We got our basically our filter dryer right here, and then everything all in here for the AC ends up going in through here. It's like we gotta dust that. Holy moly, that thing's dirty. And then your massive pipes that help feed the air to it. And then also you got a dial gauge right there, which tells you if the filter needs to be replaced. Your coolant right there, and everything else. But this bumper really kind of wraps around as it does. And of course we got the aluminum rims on here with some lug nut covers. We definitely got to get some more to finish it out. And then here's the APU unit. As you can hear, it's running. This is the Thermal King, which does the heating and cooling into the truck. I do definitely have to get a new one of these because on the other side there, this kind of flips open and makes noise, and I don't like that. So we're definitely going to look into that and get that pulled down and get it tighter together. So as you can see, it's still running yet. And then we got another compartment right here, which we keep that one locked, which we got all our coolants, airlines, miscellaneous clamps that we need. So we make sure that we always stay prepared in case something should happen at the last moment. But yeah, that's basically the whole truck during the day. The only thing I don't really like either is that you got to lock your hood locks down here, where the Volvo, you control it inside the cab. But not saying that you can't pop open a hood. It is possible you can pop open a hood from the outside, but it's a real pain in the butt. But yeah, this is certified clean idle, and it's only got one, doesn't have no shoreline power, so it's only got a block heater right here. If they had shoreline, there'd be another one right here. But eventually, I think what we want to do when we get further down the road, we're going to end up sticking a row of lights along here, kind of down, go to here, all the way across along this strip. Stick one light right here so that when we're filling a fuel, that we can actually see the fuel level while it's going into the truck, and then continue running the lights all the way back. So then eventually we will have rear spotter lights put up there, because that's we gotta always see what we're going on in the back. So everybody, that's definitely the well, I can show you this date of manufacture. I don't know if you can see that. It was manufactured on January 2019. That was when it was manufactured. And then the other information, let's see. The rear axle ratio is a 2.79. So if anybody ever asks, 2.79. The scale in weight, being empty with nothing in it, 16,733 pounds. Gross vehicle weight, 46,350. So if we ever haul 46,350, we cannot. The reason why I say we cannot is because of the fact is with the weights of coolant, oil, transmission, rear end fluid, all that weight from being from 16,000 is not the correct weight anymore. So next stop, potatoes. Yep, just over there, IP in that building. As soon as I go around the building, I'm going to go in for taters. I guarantee you that. But yeah, definitely. When we put the super singles on the truck, we actually lost 900 pounds or gained 900 pounds. So with the duals being on there, they were actually heavier. So we made the truck a lot lighter with the duals on. And so that's what actually, we can actually haul probably now 45.9. That would be the max that we can actually haul. So our truck weighed right now, before we even took our first load, with everything all in it, it was at 19,940 pounds. So that is what the gross weight. Then, believe it or not, that was with Carmen and the dogs in here, because that's what I wanted to have done, was a complete overall weight with them also included, and everything that we had on board, all the Pepsi, all the everything else that we have to have on the road. I wanted that weight before we even started. So the other thing is too, here's our power supplies, basically everything for when we plug in for our live stream. This stays into here all non-stop. We also got a fan over there, believe it or not, when we get into the sun, that we got to cool the device off. We have a fan over here that blows all the way across to keep this cool. This will heat up. A lot of the stuff that I do will heat this phone up, and especially with the sun coming in, this is definitely gets very hot. So we definitely got to take measures to keep the phone cool. As soon as we get a message on board saying that the phone is overly hot, then it'll basically do it. The other thing is too, basically, a lot of people ask me about the beeping they hear up here. This is the pre-pass. This has This is actually the Elite Pass. This one will have for all the tolls in the United States, just in the US alone. So Texas, all the East Coast, Illinois, Florida, the Turnpike, that pass does them all. And then basically when we get to a scale, if they want me to come in, I either get a green or red light. Red light always means to pull in. Green light, always bypass. When we do hit a yellow, basically that means that the batteries are going. So, and also we got the tattletale. That camera right here, you see? This is part of the lane assist. This is what you hear, beep beep, or the 3 beeps. That's basically it. And of course, we always got our horn. So we are gonna definitely start winding this down. I want to thank everybody for that, and people that are coming in or seeing this video later on for definitely checking us out. Make sure you always hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. And if you always want to join us on a trip, you definitely can. Just always make sure your notifications are always on all notifications, and we will see you the next time. Thanks everybody for joining in. Next time we will do a live stream, which will be sometime tomorrow morning. Make sure you stay tuned for that. We should be more of a daytime instead of a early morning. But I will also do a live stream of the variances of the suspension of these trucks later on. I'll show you the difference, what the company buys for trucks compared to what this truck was. So, all right, everybody, we are gonna definitely go enjoy those potatoes. Bye, all. Thanks everyone for stopping in and hitting the likes. We all love you all. You all take care and have a great day.